Hey, what's up, guys? Alex here. So, continuing our discussing transit series, I've been toying around with a very underrated proposal in Toronto transit planning. Nobody really talks about this, but around 40 years ago, the TTC built the Line 3 Scarborough RT, which we'll briefly talk about before we move on to what would have been its successor, the Etobicoke line. Now, I know someone made a video about this already, but I've been thinking about it for quite some time now. It's been really stuck in my head, and I have a few ways to potentially make it even better than its original proposal. So, let's get into it. So we have to go back in time to when the Scarborough RT was originally being proposed as a light rail line in the 1970s. Around that time, the government of Ontario and the Urban Transportation Development Corporation had proposed a light metro network for GO Transit in the Greater Toronto Area. However, that project went nowhere and it got cancelled, but they had already built a prototype vehicle and they wanted to test with the Scarborough LRT because at the time, like I said, it was being designed as a light rail line and it was pretty short. So they encouraged the TTC to make the change. Now, after the TTC initially refused to make the change, they agreed to change the design to a fully grade separate light metro. And Line 3 opened in 1985. However, it was a very shaky start for the first 4 years. Now let's talk about the proposal that went nowhere. The TTC had planned to build a very similar line, but in Etobicoke, so obviously it would have been called the Etobicoke RT. It would have ran from Kipling Station to Pearson Airport and then York University. And this line would have been built after the Scarborough RT had opened. However, it never moved past the proposal phase and it was quietly dropped. The only remnants of it can be seen at Kipling Station, which opened in 1980, and a rough-in platform was built in the hopes of constructing the light metro. But obviously, that never happened, and they just never got back to that because the Scarborough RT was already expensive, right? Like I said, it suffered a bit of trouble in the first few years, but eventually operations became stable. But we're not going to divulge into that further because we all know how it met its demise in the very later years. Okay, so here's my proposal for the Etobicoke Light Metro line. The picture on the right is from my fantasy transit map that I created back in September. You guys can check out a video I made on it, and that was the first time I brought up about this proposal. Now, in my opinion, it would have been called Line 7 because, like I said in my video about the Eglinton East LRT, it doesn't make any sense and it's just a low priority thing. But we've already talked about that. And there would be two branches, both originating at Kipling Station in the south, one to Pearson Airport and one to Humber College. And there would be 10 stations. There would be major regional connections at Kipling, Martin Grove, Carlingview, Pearson Airport, Woodbine Center, and Humber College Station. Actually, there wouldn't be any regional connections at Martin Grove, but we'll get into that in the next slide. And the purpose for this line would pretty much fill in the missing gap of rapid transit coverage in Etobicoke, right? Obviously, this line would connect north and south, and it would probably be a quicker alternative to the airport depending on the time of day. And it would also ease congestion on bus routes 900 and 927. The 927 is awfully crowded, right? It's mostly full of college students. But also, both bus routes travel on Highway 427, and during the day, the traffic isn't the greatest. However, at other times, it's really fast. I made a chart of travel times, which we'll get to near the end of this video. But I think if anything, this light metro could bode very well for people heading to the airport or going to the college, or even heading to, or even heading downtown. So sorry for the the stumble. And this line would be mostly elevated with one small section underground. So this line would take inspiration from the Ontario line, right, which will be a light metro line, of course, and the Montreal REM. So in all, they would look very, very similar to each other. They would use the same technology, maybe the same trains. I don't know. They would use overhead power, driverless trains, platform edge doors. So yeah, very, very simple stuff. And this brings us to Google Maps, where we will do our quarter analysis on the Etobicoke line. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, the Pearson branch pretty much resembles the original proposal for the line back in the 1980s. However, the Humber College branch is my own proposal. And I know there's rumors of Line 6 possibly being extended to Pearson airports. I mean, that's a concept, but it's a very bad idea. I mean, we've already saw what happened with the slow speeds, and regardless if it's still built in the middle of the street or if it's elevated, it's a very bad idea. Don't extend Line 6, and that's why I think a completely new light metro line would fare a lot better. Okay, so we'll start things off at Kipling Station, and I think it's pretty obvious where the platforms would be. Pretty much at the rough in section uh, for the original line that was never built. However, there would be one single track. If anything, I think trains would arrive every 5 minutes, but 10 minutes per branch. So I guess combined, like I just said, it would be 5 minutes. And immediately northwest of the station, there would be like a track switch there. So northbound trains can go on their way, and then southbound trains after that can just enter the station. And obviously, this line would connect to the Line 2 Bloor Danforth subway, the Go Milton train line, My Way buses to Mississauga, and the one Go Transit bus that serves the station, Route 29. The line would be elevated just following Auckland Road, and then it would follow the hydro corridor here, because look at all this space. But for this part, it serves a pretty low density residential neighborhood. Um, probably probably no developments, but I guess you never know. But we already have a couple of stations that serve these low density areas. So there would be a station at Burdenthorpe Road. It's pretty obvious that, like I said, this hydro corridor makes sense to have a line being built here. Um, and this station would, of course, be elevated. Nothing else to say about that, except that this station would connect with the 50 Burdenthorpe bus. Next up, we have Rathburn Station. Pretty straightforward. It would also be elevated. Um, and of course, it would have connections with the 48 Rathburn bus. But it's also a very short uh, distance, or rather, maybe about like a 10, maybe less than 10-minute walk from Kipling Avenue, where you can catch the 45 Kipling bus, and I think the 46 Martin Grove bus as well. And then the line slightly heads northwest as we reach Martin Grove Road and Eglinton Avenue West, where we'll have an obvious connection with the under construction Line 5 LRT West extension. So obviously the station would be expanded. Uh, I think there would be like a center platform with a set of stairs, escalators, and one elevator down, and then you'll have to take another elevator to get down, underground to the concourse before um, going to the LRT platforms. And keep in mind the western extension, most of it is underground, anyways. Um, but it would have connections with the 32 Eglinton West bus, if it were still around by then, 46 Martin Grove Road bus, and the 52G Lawrence West bus, because the 52G pretty much terminates north of here, and it could easily be extended down to Martin Grove Station. But it would also serve a couple of high-rise apartment buildings as well. So I guess it makes sense. There's also a plaza just east of here, and some fairly new townhouses that were built. And then this line will cross over Highway 401 and then Highway 27 and running on the west side of Highway 27 because there's actually quite a lot of space there. Yeah, see, I think yeah, the elevated section could easily fit in that space. But we come to our obstacle here because right around here where the on ramp from Dixon Road to Highway 27 is would be where the tracks or rather the branches split off, and that would be literally before the Humber College branch hits up at Dixie. Is it Dixie? No, Dixon Road. Sorry about that. But I thought for a while, how could this station even be built? Well, I think the line would transition from elevated to on the ground, but the only way to do this right is to like eliminate the on and off ramps from Dixon Road and Highway 27, so there could be a station underneath Dixon Road, and I think there would be entrances on both sides of the street where you can connect with the 52 and 952 Lawrence West buses. But from here, though, is where literally south of the station. This is where the Pearson branch would split off, and it would head over to its next station, which would be at Carlingview Station. So, yeah, so this part would still be elevated, but then it would go over the Etobicoke Creek, or I think it is. I might be wrong. And head over to Carlingview Drive. This would somewhat be an important stop because it serves many airport hotels, right? We got the Marriott Hotel and the Westin Hotel and a couple. Oh yeah, the DoubleTree by Hilton and a couple of restaurants as well. You look over here. There's the Park and Fly, or actually no, actually the line would be on the south side of Dixon Road. Okay. um, or actually, and then there's a problem, right? There is the DoubleTree, so I'm not really sure. Well, actually, there is a little bit of space there, but you're gonna have to try really hard to protect the DoubleTree anyway. Um, but the station would likely be at the southeast corner of Carlingview and Dixon, and it would have connections with the TTC 52 and 952 buses, as well as the 112 West Mall bus and the My Way 107 Malton Express bus. I think that's the only My Way bus that runs along here. I'm pretty sure. And then after this, it'll start making its way underground. So this is where the portal would be. This is another parking lot, and then it would dive underground before the off ramp from Highway 427. Or maybe, well, there is a little bit of space here, I guess, but yeah, I guess there is. I guess you could just maybe have a line kind of on the ground, and then eventually would dive underground, and then it would be tunneled all the way to Pearson Airport's Terminal 1. Now, the reason why the station would be under Terminal 1 is so there would be direct connections to other transit as well. So the station wouldn't just be there for people heading to the airport. it would be there for people to connect to regional transit as well. So at Terminal 1 station, you can connect with the Up Express train, uh, TTC buses, of course, My Way buses, Brampton Transit buses, and Go Transit buses. If you want to get to Terminal 3, you'll have to transfer to the Link Terminal train, and then you'll end up at Terminal 3. But Terminal 1 is where all the regional transit connections are. And so we'll leave it at that. I think for My Way, there's the 7 bus. Pretty sure that's the only route that goes there. And then Brampton Transit has the 115 bus. And then Go Transit has the 41. I think they have the 40 and 41 buses and the 94 as well. And that would be the terminus of the Pearson branch. Okay, back to the main line here. So now we're going to look at the Humber College branch. Again, we were talking about Dixon Station. Get rid of the on and off ramps from Dixon Road, and then there'd be a station directly underneath Dixon Road, and there'd be bus stops for the Lawrence West buses. And then after this, the line would emerge elevated. The line would go elevated again, and then let's see there. I know there's an industrial street. It could also even be in the middle, but it would interfere with traffic. That's a problem. But yeah, I guess that space is okay though. So at this point, this line is now traveling through a very industrial area. I guess buses would be your only option because there's the 112 from Kipling Station and then the 927C. After going over Highway 409, it would reach its next station, which would be Woodbine Center. And of course, there's already a GO station under construction. So there would be connections with the Kitchener line and the Up Express train as well, because of course, this station would be within walking distance from the Woodbine racetrack and the casino. So let's go over here. This is Grandstand Entrance Road. This is years before construction had started. The station will be around here, at least that's where it will be, and there will be connections to TDC buses according to Metrolinx. It's still the early stages, but I guess it obviously it really makes sense for the Etobicoke lines to have a stop here, right? Many people go to the casino. And then the line would, of course, remain elevated. Of course, there's all this space here. And then it would cross Rexdale Boulevard and head over to its next stop at Rexdale Station. However, the station would be placed right next to Queen's Plate Drive because there would be a connection to the 37A Islington bus, although, in my opinion, that branch should become its own 137 Rexdale route. But yeah, this is the parking lot for the Woodbine Mall and Fantasy Fair. There's the main entrance over there. The reason why, like I said, I would put the station right at Queens Play Drive, so there would be a connection with the 37A Islington bus, and then the entrance to the mall would be right here. But if you put it over here, it's a long walk to the mall. Also, the Hudson's Bay store is permanently closed, and actually, the only bus connection there is at Rexdale Boulevard is the 11 Westwood bus, and the is it the 30 Rexdale bus? I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not familiar with My Way, but yeah, it makes way more sense to have a station. And there's also a residential neighborhood here too. It's pretty small. And then finally, it will remain elevated all the way to Humber College Station, where the line would terminate, and of course have a direct connection with the Line 6 LRT. So this Google Street View shows the station still under construction. So it's very obvious the platforms would be right on top of the station building, and of course, just a short walk from the bus terminal where you can connect to TTC, My Way, Brampton Transit, and YRT buses, and obviously, of course, a walking connection for Humber College or Humber Polytechnic students. And of course, the residential neighborhood nearby and the Etobicoke General Hospital. We all know the big deal with Humber College Station in the surrounding area. And that is the corridor analysis. I don't really think it'll spark development, but obviously it will create more opportunities, right? It'll give more people access, like more of like a rapid transit access from North Etobicoke to South Etobicoke. And we're gonna get to that now as we talk about the travel times. All right, so forgive me if the chart is disorganized, but here are the comparison of travel times with the existing bus routes and the light metro. So, from Kipling Station to the Pearson Airport, I think the light metro would take around 15 minutes, right? You're stopping at four stations along the way, and obviously it would do a great job of easing the congestion on the 900 bus. Many people are, bringing their luggage, and they want to find a sense of comfort. Then the train would be better off for you. Uh, Typically, the 900 bus takes around 20 minutes, especially during the peak hours. There's typically a lot of traffic on Highway 427 right when you get on from Dundas Street West. And then before Highway 401, it picks up, but still a slow ride, I would say. Uh, for the late nights, it's almost very similar, right? The Etobicoke line would still take 15 minutes, but if you're traveling after 9 p.m. all the way to like 1:30, then it would take around 17 minutes because that's when the traffic is really good. And then Kipling to Humber College Station would take about 20 minutes with the light metro on elevated track west of Highway 27. On the 927, typically takes around half an hour between Kipling and Humber College. Same thing in the other direction. Like I just said, Highway 427 and the traffic really plays a factor, but it's very smooth. Again, just pretty much when Highway 27 begins, just north of the 401. But then remember, you're gonna have to stop at a few traffic lights right at Belfield Road, Rexdale Boulevard, and Queens Play Drive, and then you have to wait to make a left turn to make onto Humber College Boulevard. Um, and then the late night, same thing, right? Because just lack of traffic, so it might just take the same amount of time, or it might be less. Who knows? But that's just how I fantasize it. So maybe during the late nights, it's probably better to take the bus, but during the day, maybe the train because, like I said, you'll find more comfort taking the train. It will definitely bode you well if you're using luggage and stuff. And then, like I said, if there were to be a light metro line at the airport, like I said, right under Terminal 1, because that's where all the regional transit connections are, right? Like I said, people don't just go to Terminal 1 to go to the airport, they go to connect to other transit. So it makes a lot of sense. But that being said, I think this would be a great option. Maybe it'll never ever happen, but if that's what they went with 40 years ago, except for the North York branch, I think it would have been better. But either way, like I said, I'm taking inspiration. I'm taking inspiration from the Ontario Line and the Montreal REM because they're all very efficient, automated light metro lines. I think they would definitely work well. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Feel free to disagree with my ideas, although please be concise. If I think of any other ideas for transit planning, I'll make a video about it. But it's taken me a while to make this video because I've been pretty busy with stuff, and I just finished exams, and just doing my research. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and peace out. Bye bye.